in our studio is someone that's been with us for a little bit now. She is our events person, among other hats she wears within the company. And ultimately, we have a lot of great events coming up. We've had some we've already done together. And I want to highlight those and highlight her and talk about the different things going on. Without further ado, Jenna Simons.
Yes. Yes.
I always, she's Jenna Simons, but for fun, I call her Jenna Simmons. But she's an incredible person, incredible background. We're going to dig into that. Probably someone that is not your typical person in this industry, if we're judging books by covers and things like that. But ultimately, Jenna represents kind of the largest segment of this industry that is kind of unspoken and forgotten about. So let's dig into it. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
A lot of times Jenna sits behind the cameras with us here, and Basel back there is always hiding. So it's good to have you on this side of the camera. Let's just get into it. How'd you get here? How'd we get here to Crown Town? What got you involved with us and in the cannabis space here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So throughout my career, I've been involved in events in some way, shape, or form. About 6 years ago, I signed up to do a chili cook-off in Plaza Midwood. It's called Frank's Fest. It's every October. And as I signed up, the organizer reached out and said, if anybody has any experience, wants to help volunteer, I would love some help. And so I messaged him and I was like, I would love to help. I'm an event planner. And he was like, perfect, because my wife is having a baby and she's due on the day of the festival. Nice. I need a right hand. Right. So I got to get involved with that. It's an amazing festival. It is every October. It's about the third October Saturday in Plaza Midwood.
Nice.
And as I was working on getting vendors for it, I'd talk to the people at Crown Town, the Plaza Central location. That is my store. I was talking to the OG. Shout out to the OG. Yep. I talked to them about being a part of it and sponsoring it. And you guys had done it for the first few years of it, and this past year when I was reaching out to the team, they said, we don't have an events person, we would love to have an events person. And I said, that's amazing, because I love your product, I love your brand, and I would love to have a bigger conversation about it. I sat down with Dan, I gave him some of my ideas, and he said, this is perfect, this is what we're looking for. So really what my big ideas were that stuck and landed me here was creating custom signature events within the cannabis industry that aren't happening already. And with Crown Town being Charlotte's first dispensary, it seemed like the perfect fit to come together to be able to do unique and interesting things that are not happening.
Absolutely.
So the first big thing that we did was our fully infused dinner at the Goodyear House.
Yeah, those that missed it, you really missed out. Just letting you know.
So we, as Mike said, we just had a ton of events come up. We just did our second dinner at the Horseshoe. It was on Monday night, and it was incredible.
Also incredible.
What was your favorite part of it?
I'm a chicken wing guy, so infused chicken wings were great. But I guess the big surprise was for us was bruschetta or bruschetta or however you want to pronounce it. It was very simple ingredients, but very delicious, and the dressing for it was phenomenal.
Phenomenal, so, and that was what was infused. Yeah,
right.
That was what was infused.
And it was great. I got to sit with some older ladies. Also non-assuming users of cannabis, and had an incredible time. Great stories. I watched them enjoy themselves with these products that they, and food they don't really get to enjoy, but hearing perspective from a different perspective was great, and hearing kind of their stories about their cannabis use growing up and how they watched it evolved and how they were kind of blown away that they're sitting there eating an infused meal legally. Mm-hmm. It was great to watch that. You could hear their journey and see their journey in real time. But yeah, it was an incredible event. Loved it.
Yeah, and so I want to see that happen every single month. I would love if you're a restaurant, if you're a chef, if you want to get involved in this, reach out to us. There's every single month because, like you said, it is legal and it is a brand new way to experience something that you can then learn how to do for yourself, right? So you can come to one of these dinners and we can show you and teach you exactly what we did with the restaurants to be able to create what they created, and you can go and replicate it at home.
Sure.
But there is just something special about people coming together, communities coming together, and people who you wouldn't think would be at the same table, sitting at the same table and enjoying their dinners. So
yeah, that's definitely one of my joys of this industry, is seeing the oddball groups that get formed around this plant.
Right.
Ultimately, people that do not belong together in the same room on paper or any other socioeconomic judgment, sitting around enjoying each other without technology and without, it was great. It's always great. And just as alcohol can be a icebreaker that can be much worse, but cannabis gives some people that social relief to be able to be more open and more sharing than normal. So and automatically it's like a brotherhood or a sisterhood. I mean, just knowing that we're all consumers, we are on that level already of understanding and awareness. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it's to echo you, we're going to be doing more of them, and we're trying to keep it switched up. Well, Jenna is trying to keep it switched up, where the first one was more like a sit down fine dining kind of thing. This was more bar food, fast food, hors d'oeuvre kind of situation where you get sampling or even a kind of a little buffet style. It was great. So we're going to try to keep it switched up and the experience to be a little different each time. So you can't miss any of them.
You really can't. And the people that we have on the line.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. so excited. I can't even tell you, my heart was on a high for weeks when I met an owner of a restaurant. It's a very popular restaurant here in Charlotte.
Nice.
And he was saying to us how impressed he was with what we were doing and how we were changing the game and bringing a new level to Charlotte dining. And like, my heart was like, this is amazing. I just wanted to put weed in food.
Right.
and you're telling me I'm a culinary genius? Like,
and I love your approach to it too, and the thought of it. We want everybody to have a good time, but we don't want you coming out of there seeing the future or feeling like you're about to pass on to your next life. So it's a good combination and build up of the amount of THC you're intaking during the process. So, I think the first one we capped it somewhere 20, 30 milligrams. This one's 50, is a little more aggressive. Of course, I went all in on everything I could. The only downside I would say to all of it is you leave extremely satisfied and full, but by the time you get home, you mysteriously are hungry again. So that would probably be the only downside. I love seafood, all of it.
Yeah.
Seafood and eat it. But no, it's an incredible experience. We are learning that alcohol consumption and overall sales are declining 20 to 30% yearly. That is true in older adults, middle-aged adults, and younger generations. And what we're finding is people want that social aspect and to do something fun, but they don't really want it based around alcohol. We're finding out alcohol is more and more unhealthy for us. And that same vibe of kumbaya and everybody loves each other can be quickly destroyed when alcohol is involved.
Yes.
So dining is just a small part of it. This is just the beginning. Jenna's going to be doing other events that aren't not necessarily involved dining or food, but there's some other things coming up too. And
there are.
Again, groundbreaking and innovative, not to steal your thunder. What is those?
All right. So this August 8th, we are going to be hosting Charlotte's very first cannabis-centered festival. It is going to be at Lenny Boy Brewing. It is called Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Kush, and it is going to be a combination of a Canna Quest, competitions, and then music and vendors and food trucks and just fun.
Sure.
So there's 2 different tickets that you can get. You can get a general admission ticket if you just want to be there, and then you can also get a Canna Quest ticket. Within that Canna Quest, there's going to be 3 different Canna Quests that you can do. Think like inflatable obstacle courses, inflatable water slides, maybe some jousting. Think Indiana Jones. We're going to make it come to life, and there's going to be some sort of aspect of cannabis within those different quests. I was just talking to one of our sponsors that's going to be coming on, brainstorming ideas for them for what they're going to do. They're going to own a portion of that. So it's going to be different kinds of cannabis consumption. So maybe it's a drink, maybe it's a gummy, maybe it's actual flower. With that, we're also going to be doing contests. So blunt rolling contest, smoke blowing contest,
nice.
Anything that you can think of that you can win.
Maybe a napping contest.
Within cannabis consumption.
I could do a napping contest.
We'd be doing that. And then as the sun goes down, we are going to have a full-out glow rave.
That's amazing.
Yep.
And that'll be a lot of fun. And that's coming August 2nd. August 2nd.
It's
Lenny
Saturday.
Boy Brewery.
Lenny Boy Brewery.
That's incredible. And it'll be fun. And, we all looking for activities to do. Yeah, it's fun to sit around and get high and eat good food. But we're looking for things to expand our knowledge, our brains, and challenge ourselves. And, we're seeing a trend of this, too, with older people, adults, looking for fun things to do that aren't typical. That's why we have the whole huge, pickleball movement. And then, got these indoor putt-putt areas and all these different things that are giving adults kind of kid things to do. So we really want to marry those things and have, not cannabis is definitely a big part of everything. I can't do anything without cannabis, it seems. But we want to give people the option to, sober curious or completely sober, and maybe even have some mocktails and things where everyone can participate. But it's going to be fun, and we're hoping to keep pushing these events and let them become a thing, and hopefully something that's really successful, make it an annual thing. But if you guys want to be part of it as a vendor, as a sponsor, as a participant, as just someone who wants to come up and have fun, stay tuned. Where can they find information about this currently?
So right now, tickets are on sale on the website cltcbd.com.
Sure.
If you search Indycanna, INDYCANNA, it'll pull it up for your tickets. As we get closer in the summer months, the tickets price will increase. So right now is the cheapest that you're going to be able to get it. And if you are interested in being a sponsor or a vendor or a food truck, shoot us an email, events@cltcbd.com. We'll be able to connect with you on that. We are really going to be looking to our different vendors, to the different people that we're already partnering with, to be bringing different experiences, right? So if you're curious about trying something and you want to have a conversation with somebody, so say like our mushroom gummies, you want to have a conversation with somebody, I want to have somebody that's there who talks you through it, who helps you know exactly what you're doing, etc. So this is also really a great opportunity if you like one thing, right, but you want to try other things.
Sure.
This is going to be the place for you to be able to sample, experience it, etc.
And if try before you buy.
Yeah, and if cannabis really isn't your thing, we are going to be having other vendors there. It is at Lenny Boy Brewery. We love Lenny Boy. Lenny Boy, just walking in there, that's where the inspiration for Indycanna Jones really came from.
Sure.
So there will be those vendor options as well as spirit options too.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it'd be reflective of who we're becoming as an industry and a company, where we're not just a cannabis company, we're also a wellness company.
Yes.
So I think there'll be a little bit of something there for everyone of age to consume. But I think it'll be a great time. So, I touched on it a little bit ago. You don't fit the typical stoner pothead persona. And, looking at you, like me, most people look at me, that guy's definitely a pothead. You don't seem to be the typical cannabis person. What was your introduction to cannabis? And I know you have an interesting background story anyway, so how did that fit into your upbringing?
Yeah, so you nailed it on the head. I do not look like I would be a cannabis consumer. I have a tolerance is almost similar to Mike, if you believe it or not.
Right.
His might be a little bit taller or a little bit higher, but I can hang.
Right.
But no, that is a common thing. People will see me and they will think like pageants, not cannabis.
Sure.
Just very like weather girl. People would tell me that I reminded them of a weather girl until they got to know me, and then they would be like, "No, she's actually not a weather girl whatsoever." Looks are deceiving people. So I grew up in southern Arizona, super southern Arizona, south of Tucson even. So really, where I grew up, it was my house, backyard, state land, Mexico.
Wow.
So my first introduction to cannabis was in high school. because it was everywhere, because I grew up right next to Mexico. And if you know Southern Arizona, if you know anything about it, like, you know, there's a lot of interesting things that happen in that area. A lot of things move through the border in that area. So it was always very rampant. My friends always had it. But I was never really interested. And then one day when I was a senior in high school, it clicked, and I was like, okay, I like this. We were smoking in my bathroom, and my mom knocks on the door, and we're like, oh, shit. And she goes, what are you girls doing in there? And we're like, nothing. And she goes, well, you know, it's fine. You just have to give me a tax. Anytime you smoke, you got to let me know. You got to give me, you got to help me out here. And we're like, okay. So mom tax. So that's when I came to learn that my mom grew up very much so a stoner, involved in the cannabis industry or culture.
Nice.
She still does now. It's like the best thing ever. A couple Easters ago, she hid eggs for me, and she forgot where she hid them.
Wow.
Because she got high before she hid them.
There are side effects.
So that kind of, to me, it made sense, and it made sense kind of like in a family type of way. And I would smoke with my mom. Enjoyed smoking with my mom, and then it just kind of continued to go on like that. Where I grew up was very poor, and like I said, it was my house, backyard, and then Mexico. So I had a lot of very interesting experiences growing up, where I had illegal immigrants passing through my backyard. Yeah. Now it was rare. Probably once every 3 to 6 months, there would be somebody who would come by, and it would only be if it was absolutely necessary. For the most part, you did not see them. They did not want to be seen, but if they were in trouble, they would stop. And I just got to set the scene for you so that you can think of this. A lot of people, when they think desert, they think just flat desert. Well, no. Southern Arizona, where I'm from, it's the Sonoran Desert. It is an old seabed. So it is hills. Hills and hills and hills and hills. Probably 2,000 hills in between, and they're big. They're not like little. In between Mexico and when you would get to my backyard. So it is grueling. And I don't know if you've ever been to the desert before, but
I'm a horse with no name.
Everything is hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is brown.
Right.
Everything is pokey.
Sandy. Yeah.
Everything is poisonous.
Yeah.
So
everything will kill you.
Everything, like, it is the perfect example of, like, it looks like it'll kill you, it will kill you. Right. It is. Right. Like, we always joke, like, when Mother Nature was putting together the Sonoran Desert, she was like, what do you want your vibe to be? And the Sonoran Desert was like brown, hot. And Mother Nature was like, you can have more. No. I was like, okay, pokey.
Yeah, give me something
really
deadly.
Hot.
I love it.
Poison.
Right.
And then Mother Nature's like, anything else? And you're like, no, you got Sedona next. Like, you can give him all my leftovers.
Right. I love it.
No, I love it there. I really do. It's a beautiful place. But it's not a safe place to be trying to walk through, especially if you don't know where you're going, you don't speak the language, you don't have the proper resources to be able to get through it. Sure. So through growing up, and my family still owns the property out there, helped a lot of people that came through. A lot of times when people would need help, their coyotes or their smugglers just abandoned them in the desert. They had no idea where they were. Absolute horror stories that you can imagine. Yeah. Those are all things that happened. And at the end of the day, like, these are just people. They're people who are trying to support their families. They're people who cannot stay where they're from. They cannot stay with their family because they're going to get killed. Right. They've seen what life is like, and they're willing to spend a ton of money to pay somebody to get them across the border. Right. And a lot of times they get just dropped off. Right. You're in America, figure it out.
If they're that lucky to make it that far.
If they're that lucky to make it that far.
Put into a human trafficking further.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean they're not all drug dealers or rapists?
No.
Okay.
Not a single one.
That's what the news told me. But no, that's that's a hot topic still, and it's something directly based around how we got here in the Prohibition era of cannabis, directly from Arizona, Mexico border area of immigrants coming across the border, ultimately carried cannabis or marijuana with them, and they used that as part of the propaganda of these drug-crazed Mexicans are coming across the border to rape your wives and your children. Yep. And we're still seeing it today in 2025, the propaganda and the rhetoric around it. You bring up a great point. Like, most people only know what they see on TV and the news, and just truly put yourself in those shoes. think about things being so bad that you risk not only every bit of money you have and saved up for quite some while, but you're risking your life, your family's life, your children's life, everything else to make it all the way to the border. And then ultimately anything goes once you've hit that border. And like you said, the coyotes, the smugglers or whatever, trying to drop them and go. You don't speak language. You have $0. You're dehydrated. A lot of times they're packed in the back of semi trucks and things with no circulating air, 140, 50, 60 degree temperatures. And why would anybody risk that just for fun and just to be here? I mean, these are people that it's truly a life or death situation. And we're still treating immigrants like that. Now, do I think we should have open border policy? Absolutely not. But the bureaucracy and the red tape, just like in this damn industry, makes it impossible to do it the right way unless you're very wealthy and connected. Yep. So, the frontline perspective, and I digress. I'll let you get back on it, but dig into it further. And, now these same folks are being held, and I'd like to say it's Justice Administration, but administrations, political administration, year after year, locks these people in cages and holding cages in concentration camps ultimately to wait for deportation or worse. And you got to understand the governments these people are running from. Like El Salvador is huge in the news right now. The person that was wrongfully extradited back to El Salvador was ultimately imprisoned for tattoos. Mm-hmm. And tattoos can get you in prison in El Salvador. Immediately say it's gang affiliation, and it's even crazier than that. So crazy that brings up. So how does that shape you now, not only in this industry, but your view of this whole subject?
I definitely think my empathy was a huge shift before. I would say, as a kid being exposed to it, like it was kind of exciting because it was like, oh, here's this new person, here's this new friend that we can try and
can we keep them?
Yeah,
can we bring them home?
Like let's try and communicate with them. Let's hear their story. Let's hear about their kids. So it really gave me this perspective of like, people are people,
right.
And here's a person who needs some help. So let's see like what you can get from them.
Smoke a joint with any of them?
No, I was a child. I was a child. That
would have been even more interesting.
No.
So you were in high school, so I'm guessing 17?
No.
18 when you...
17 when I first started smoking.
Right, yeah. But obviously the exposure to the immigrants was way earlier.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the drug consumption.
Okay, cool. You never know.
Nothing to do.
I'm still trying to connect the dots from what the U.S. did back during the tax stamp era or the Prohibition era. So, but that's incredible.
More just being in the environment of Southern Arizona and just kind of the interesting things that happen. If you've ever lived near a border, if you know, a lot of interesting things can happen. So I think that really was kind of my gateway into it. And then growing up with the people I grew up with, oh my gosh, I had phenomenal people that I grew up with. But again, really just living that life in Southern Arizona and taking advantage of the opportunities that we had because we were a border town.
Sure.
But I would say, I do want to say, for my family still owns the property in over 35 years. There has been one time that the house got broken into, and they broke in and they took frozen burritos and they left money on the table.
Oh, wow.
And just said, we're so sorry, we're really hungry.
Well, I hope they at least cooked them before they left.
I don't know if they did. I don't think that they did.
Of course, Arizona, you just got to set it outside for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so for me, that immigration is very near and dear to my heart because I have seen firsthand the why. And I agree with you completely. Like, it should be, people do need to come in a legal way. They do need to take the right steps. It is really difficult. There are so many barriers for somebody who desperately needs help to get in here that is their only choice. But it really has a near and dear place in my heart. And when people are talking about immigrants, they're talking about all of these dangers at the border and these people who are lined up. I'm like, where is that? I don't see that. Nobody I know sees that.
Though. I mean, at the end of the day, by definition, we're all immigrants.
Yeah.
We're all immigrants. Yeah. Every one of us. And this whole get off my land shit kills me. I mean, I had a friend post a meme the other day that showed the entire galaxy, and of course it's just specks of massive galaxy, and a little tiny arrow that says, you are here. This is the get off my land planet, and it's like, it just baffles me that some people's worlds become so small, and to think you own, I mean, I know we own land and things like that, but it's all arbitrary. It's not real. You know,
it's not real.
And these lines are gerrymandered and redrawn and bought and sold and everything else as we're trying to invade Iceland or whatever the hell we're doing at this point. But, I could go into it forever, but what kills me is we become so involved in defiant terms and boundaries and borders and policies and politics that we forget we're human. We forget that we're truly all the same with very minute differences. And, I think that's driven by media. I think we've been demoralized by it. And it's the same thing I like to compare it to. I call it Twitter finger, or people that, per my last email, people that are very aggressive behind a keyboard or in a safe, protected space. But you get people face to face, a lot of that bravado and bullshit goes out the window. Yep. And I've met people all over this world. Most of them I connected with by sharing a joint. But I realized we're all truly the same. We want the same thing. We want a decent life. Most of us don't even want to be rich or wealthy. We just want to work and live a decent life, provide for our family, and enjoy life's spoils of the good things. Being able to wake up, being able to have a life, a companion, enjoy emotions with people. And I think because of these black screens, we've forgotten that. And we forget how to connect on a human level. And I feel like it's truly a damn pandemic at this point. Yep. And I've always wanted to take your Newsmax and your Fox News people that sit behind their TVs all day getting terrified by propaganda thrown at them and take them out of that living room to the real world and say, it's bad out here in certain things if you only look for the bad, but look at the good. Yeah. Look at the good. Yeah. And I think that's what our plant does for us. It kind of peels back a lot, has an extra ingredient in it called fuck it. And you realize, damn, let's have a real conversation with someone without stereotypes or with the news media influencing this. And I have some beautiful relationships with people all over this world, and ultimately very little in common with them if you hear what media tells you. So, interesting background. Yeah,
it very interesting.
Sure.
It was.
So what brings you up good old North Carolina? What's your journey from there?
So I always wanted to live in the South. Just really like seasons. I wanted seasons. Okay, I wanted green.
Humidity, that's big.
Yeah, I will take an Arizona summer over a Charlotte summer all day, every day.
Yeah, that dry heat thing.
Dry heat's different. Yeah. But no, I always wanted to live in a very quintessential Southern place, and I applied for a job that I thought was in Charleston, but it was in Charlotte. And,
CH words with
I reading's hard. I got the job. I figured it out before I moved, and have been here ever since. About 14 years.
Incredible. Mm-hmm. Is it everything you thought it would be?
It has a lot more New Yorkers and Ohio people.
That's true. Everybody talking about get off my land. All these damn states need to take their people back. No, it's truly incredible. What's your favorite thing about the South? Oh. Put you on the spot.
It's
not fried okra. I don't want to talk.
I'm going to say it is Charlotte's unique position to be able to be in the mountains, the beach, really anywhere. True. I also think people are friendlier here, even if they're not from here. I think that's kind of been like a thing that they have adopted.
The Southern hospitality, it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm. I like all of that.
It's all in the sweet tea.
But really, seasons and green.
And it's funny you say that because I've often, especially coming from being born in Charlotte, where the hell is Charlotte? Is that near Raleigh? That's nobody ever knew where Charlotte was, and now we're kind of on the map. But I always wanted to live somewhere else, and luckily, as an adult, I've been able to travel pretty much everywhere, some incredible places. But everything pulls me back to here for those reasons. So we have a melting pot community here now. We are very progressive in so many ways, but very traditionalist in other ways, and we have roots that are good and we have roots that are bad. But ultimately, Charlotte is very good at reinventing itself, and that's what I love about this state and the city. We've been so many different things, from textiles to a banking industry to farming industry to at one point probably a slavery industry, whatever the hell else. But we've been able to progressively reinvent ourselves and have enough attraction in the city to bring people in. And ultimately, it's helped us progress in this space because we're in the Bible Belt. And if we didn't have the influx of people from other areas, I don't think we would have made it this far in this industry.
Yeah, correct.
And, we're still fighting that. We got a lot of people that are in office right now that were very much so alive during segregation. So we got a long way to go, come a long way. But I do love the state for that reason. We have a great melting pot, great microcosm.
And Charlotte is so prime to really take the cannabis industry and make it almost like into a tourism destination for Charlotte, right? Because if you think about Charlotte, if you're not coming here for a reason, you're not coming here.
Right.
So we have a really awesome
maybe a layover at the airport.
Yeah, or you're visiting a friend,
right.
But you're not like, oh, I want to go vacation in Charlotte, North Carolina. But I want to see us use our platform, use what we have to turn it into something more, to turn it into something different, to be like a cannabis destination for people.
The most disappointing everything in life. Do you know what North Carolina's most popular tourist attraction is?
Isn't it? It's like the NASCAR Hall of Fame? No, Billy Graham, the Billy Graham Library.
It's Concord Mills.
Oh, it's Concord Mills.
Yeah, it's a factory outlet mall. It's our most attractive thing in the state where most people visit, which is very disheartening because we do have NASCAR Hall of Fame. We got the Biltmore State. We got Raleigh, Cary, the Outer Banks, the Asheville, everything. But no, a damn factory outlet mall.
Yes.
That's anyway.
We also have the highest grossing producer of DoorDash. Taco Bell in South End.
Oh yeah,
number one.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
You do like $5 billion or $5 million. It's insane.
So we're open to Taco Bell in South End.
That Taco Bell in South End.
They do have good Taco Bell.
Yeah, so Concord Bell's
gotta love the bell.
Taco Bell.
That's cool. Speaking of food, because that's one of my next. So, we've talked about it a little bit on the show. We haven't made full announcements or whatever, but we have merged with another company out of Winston-Salem, the Celestial Wellness Group. Shout out Tyler, Kyler, Justin. But with that, we're bringing a lot more things under the umbrella that is our company. And one of the things, Tyler's mom and his stepmom have a incubator, commercial kitchen, business incubator that ultimately was formed during COVID to single-handedly change the direction of where the restaurants and everything were headed during COVID and turned their whole industry around ultimately through this culinary kitchen. And we have acquired this as part of the merger. We're acquiring the kitchen. But the big story about all that is we now have a USDA, FDA, blah, 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 certified kitchen in our repertoire where we now make infused baked goods. And this is Tyler's baby along with his mom. It's a new brand we have in-house, made in-house, called The Whole Damn Bakery. And it is The Whole Damn Bakery. There's so much love that goes into this. It is a nice 9,000 square foot commercial kitchen, but ultimately it still has that small batch homemade touch and feel because that's what they do. They do normal work during the day, and in the evenings they run batches of these infused products, and they're absolutely incredible. We got everything from the chocolate chip cookies. We have brownies that have nice edges all the way around. Edges are important with brownies. These cream pie cookies.
Oatmeal cream pies.
Oh, yeah. Oatmeal cream pies are actually truly incredible. We're even coming out with smaller versions where there's way more bite-sized ones instead of this massive meal of a cookie that we have. But it's one of my challenges on the show all the time. I wish we could put it through for you to taste or smell. But Jenna are going to take that burden. Jenna and I are going to take that burden away.
We're going to take that burden.
And which ones we have samples of both of these right now?
We've got samples of both of these. Right. Other products within the line are going to be Rice Krispie treats. There's cinnamon or cereal bars. I've heard talk of pot tarts. They're beautiful and incredible, and also macaroons or macarons or however the hell you want to. Everybody's got a different pronunciation. So I've tried the Pop-Tarts,
right,
and they are insane. So you going for the oatmeal cookie first?
Well, oatmeal cookie first. So.
Oh wow, Lisa.
Right. Incredible.
Lisa.
They're really all the consistencies and textures and everything you want. That frosting is truly incredible. But again, no taste of cannabis
None
at all. These run about 100 milligrams a piece. The first batch they got a little crazy with. They were not 100 milligrams a piece, in the R&D session, and we borderline hurt ourselves. But it was really good. Jenna and I were lucky enough to try Lisa's birthday cake she made for Tyler, her son, and had these infused cherries and things like that. It's incredible. But wish you guys could taste this, and you can.
Yeah.
You can find these at cltcbd.com or crowntowncannabis.com. Or if you're interested in carrying them in your store, hit us up at theplugdistribution.com. 3 of our sponsors, shout out, or celestialwellness.com. You can find them all of these locations.
And they're in the stores too.
They're in the stores. Not all edibles are created the same. Anybody coming up in the edible game that's ever made them at home or whatever, you can have these brownies and 1 or 2 of them did nothing to you, and all of a sudden you eat the third one and everything fell in concentration in that third one, and now you're in space. These are very well thought out and very well constructed and baked, where you have consistent milligrams of THC throughout the whole recipe. It is infused through the butter, and it's made sure that every piece gets equal amounts of THC. And then in testing, all of these titrate within 10% of titration, which is incredible in this industry if you see the fluctuation from piece to piece for gummy or edible. So they're very consistent, very accurately dosed. And 100 milligrams is not crazy, but you should definitely try them out. It's one of our newest products in the store and online, and they're still incredible for us. We already got huge companies reaching out to us to have us start making their edibles for them, which we're honored to do. But you guys got to try this. Take it, even not infused. This is next level.
Look how gooey that is.
I know, it's so gooey.
Like so gooey.
And they have a great shelf life. We do try to keep them all fresh within 1 month of shelf life, and after that we drop the sale on them and get rid of them. But we're going to keep them very fresh, even though the shelf life really goes much longer. And everything in this is all natural, no artificial ingredients or flavors or anything like that. Big announcement yesterday by the government that all food dyes, petroleum-based food dyes, have been banned in the U.S. So that was an incredible win for all of us. And we're already adhering to that with these products and a lot of products we carry. There's a couple that might have a little red 6, yellow 5, whatever in it. But we're working through getting those out. We learn better, we do better. We listen and we don't judge, right? But these are truly incredible. I wish you could try them. I'm probably going to smash all this and regret it later because I got shit to do. But they're really good.
They're really good. I am not a dessert person.
Right.
If you were like, would you like green beans or a cookie? I'm going green beans. But these are
green bean cookie.
These are really good. They're really, really good.
Girl Scouts can go to hell.
And they're made in Winston-Salem.
Right in our backyard.
Right in our backyard.
American made, local made for those listening locally, but really good. But behind all of this, and just to touch on it, are families, are businesses that have gone all in. Myself, my business partners, other people in the industry. We've invested everything we got in this: time, money, sanity, you name it. We're invested. And we see these headlines in the news, potential changes of laws, either legalization or delegalization or recriminalization or whatever. Really get involved and understand what this means. This isn't just affecting potheads looking to get high. Of course, it affects everyone. But these are businesses that are tightly ingrained in communities that are ecosystems of the economy. We're not just a cannabis company. We are a construction company. We are a bakery. We are a restaurant. We are so many things, and we employ not only our people directly, we employ so many ancillary companies that help us build this industry and this thing we got. I'm sitting here watching construction guys work tirelessly. So as we haphazardly let these politicians write laws to put us out of business with a stroke of a pen, understand these are real families and real people behind these decisions. And $1 spent locally at a local business is more likely to go into your local economy than the money we spend with these huge big box stores or national brands like your Amazons, your Walmarts. So support local, but also let your representatives know as constituents that you want to vote cannabis. You want to vote wellness. You want to vote for adults to be able to make conscious decisions on their own of what they choose to put in their body, as long as they don't harm other people. It's way bigger than cannabis. It's about personal rights. It's about your rights to heal yourself and treat yourself as you want to. So it's bigger than just fighting for this planet. It's fighting for freedom. I'll digress with that. Make sure you definitely support your beliefs at all times. But these politicians, most part, do not have your best interests at heart. They have a dollar and their own interest at heart. They want to get voted in again. They're looking for power and money. That's been the same from the beginning of man through creation of our democracy, and it's still very true today. Understand that everything is a business and everything has a motive, and very few people do things just for the goodness and the kindness of their heart. So, you might think we've come a long way in the cannabis industry or as a community or as a world or as a society, but it really feels like we're digressing back to where we came from because we haven't learned the lessons we need to learn. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. And if you don't stand up for our rights and freedoms, the next people's is going to be your own. And if there's none of us left to fight, there's nothing left to fight for. So, with all that being said, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for being part of this company and this deal. And, Jenna's part of the company of Let's Be Blunt and employee and an owner. And we're really trying to grow this thing into being more. We want you to like and subscribe, follow us. But we also want to hear your story, whether you're in opposition to this industry or this plan or anything we're talking about, or whether you're a champion of it. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your why. We want to really dive into some of the things that plagues us as a society today, whether it be perspective and understanding or whatever, but we got mental health, physical health, so many journeys that we're on together, but it's rarely spoken about. So I really want to bring some of these things to life of how we can help each other, how we can support each other, and ultimately get back to the community aspect that built everything we have today.
Yeah.
And if we don't stand up with each other united, together we will fall.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add for the people?
No, just doubling down on what Mike said. If you have a story and you want to tell it, reach out to us, events@cltcbd.com. We would love to have you on the podcast. Mm-hmm. If you have a product that you want us to sample, please send it to us. We'll be happy to look into different things like that. But again, just tripling down on what Mike said. If you've got an interesting story, if you are against cannabis, if it has changed your life in some sort